We're going to resume. I just wanted to remind you that this program is also being streamed live with the Carter Center's Forum on Women. So there are going to be folks online who are going to be asking questions, and I want to say hi to them. So hello. Your turn, Ed. I'll hold it.
So Emory's 21 Days of Peace is ultimately a large collaboration on the campus and off of the campus, and that collaboration includes the Institute for the Developing Nations, Emory's Campus Life, and the Carter Centers for Rights program. Emory's 21 Days for Peace holds several events throughout September, from September the 1st through September the 21st, and our ultimate goals are really to inspire, empower, and educate students to be peace builders in both their local and global communities. You can learn much more about the 21 Days of Peace at the information table and at the IDN's website.
Thank you. And we would like to thank the co-sponsors for today's event. They are African Studies Association, Center for Ethics, Center for Contemplative Science and Compassion-Based Ethics, Center for Humanitarian Emergencies with the Rollins School of Public Health, Department of French and Italian, Emory Government and Community Affairs, Institute of African Studies, Masters in Development Practice, Office of Spiritual and Religious Life, and Student Government Association. Can we give everybody a round of applause?
Today's conversation will include three amazing people. Our guests, Neema Namadamu, and two Emory representatives. I will introduce those two Emory representatives, and Upsay will introduce the other. I will start with Salome Goulant. She is a senior at Emory University's College of Arts and Sciences, majoring in human health and minoring in sociology. She is also the president of Emory's African Student Association. Originally from Ethiopia, she had the opportunity to intern at the Network of Ethiopian Women's Association on the projects related to women's empowerment. She is currently an intern at the United Way of Greater Atlanta. She is passionate about uplifting women of color and reforming our health systems where minority groups are disproportionately disadvantaged. Our second peace builder is Rachel Lassinger, is an alumni of Emory's Laney Graduate School Masters of Development Practice program, and she is currently serving as a program associate at the Carter Center's Democracy program. Rachel joined the Carter Center in November of 2017. She is currently doing work at the Center's Citizens Observation Project in the Democratic Republic of Congo and has previously worked at the Carter Center's Election Observation Mission in Nepal. I want to thank both of those representatives of Emory for joining us today.
Our guest of honor today is Neema Namadamu. Neema is the founder of Hero Women Rising, or Maman Shujaa in Swahili. She is a visionary activist and tireless champion of women's and girls' empowerment in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country the UN has designated as the worst place in the world for women and girls. Neema is the first woman with a disability from her tribe to graduate from college in Congo. She has served in Parliament as the chief advisor to the DRC's Minister of Gender and Family. Under her guidance, Hero Women Rising operates many powerful programs in Eastern Congo, including an internet center which has provided basic computer training and online access to over 5,000 women and girls, and a Girls Ambassadors program, which is a mentoring program for young women, as well as a program called Keep Girls in School, which provides sanitary napkin kits for up to 3 years to over 2,500 girls who would be missing 5 days of school each month, who would hence be dropping out of school and married off at an early age. Neema is also currently building a girls' primary school in Itombwe. Through all these programs, her one goal is to lift up women and girls. And before we bring her onto the stage, which you're already here, but before we have you start speaking and before we have the students speaking, we're going to show a brief video about Neema. So stay tuned.
There are many people taking an active role in shaping a better future for our world. Today we focus on one woman in the Democratic Republic of Congo who once said that her work is to create heaven for her daughter in a place called hell. Please meet Neema Namadamu. Please meet Neema Namadamu. Neema was of Itwambe. At the age of 2, she was stricken with polio, known locally as buka buka, which left her permanently disabled. Having personally experienced the marginalization of persons with disabilities, Neema was determined not to allow her disability to handicap her in any way. She first used media to advocate for change in the 11th grade when she was asked to host a radio program to raise awareness in the community about the disabled, while at the same time promoting their dignity. She went on to become the first woman with a disability from her tribe to graduate from university, and eventually she served her nation as the technical advisor to the Minister of Gender and Family. A couple of years ago, Neema founded a women's movement in eastern Congo, described by the United Nations as the worst place in the world to be a woman. The women called themselves the Maman Shujaa, which means hero women in Swahili. Since then, the Maman Shujaa have become world-renowned for their promotion of peace in eastern Congo and for a voice in the direction of their country's future. Neema is well known for saying,
I'm not interested to make a little noise. I'm looking to change the paradigm.
Neema partnered with the global organization World Pulse and started a women's center offering free computer training and online access for the women. Now their voices who have been muted all of their lives are not only changing their world, but the hearts of both women and men in eastern Congo and elsewhere. Neema says that the Maman Shujaa are being heard because their message is a universal one. Says Neema, impact is not measured by whether or not you are amassing followers, but whether or not you are inspiring leadership. We don't want a world of leaders and followers, but leaders only. In 2011, Neema founded a company called Go Network with the intention of connecting her mostly disconnected country to one another and the world. Neema is intent on using the internet to provide in-home education for children with disabilities, literacy for the masses of illiterate women who live in the rural and remote areas of Congo, telemedicine services for the small clinics that serve large areas and remote regions, and so much more. Finally, after 3 years working to get this dream off the ground, all the pieces are in place to introduce this vital technology-based solution to the nation.
This is time we get technology. I connect women, Congolese women around the world, connect women through technology. The world must know through women what's going on Congo. You can't believe when people talk about the Congo, they say only bad things. They say Congo is not country, is already died. Congo is lost cause. And I tell people, Congo is not Ross cause because I'm here. I'm Congolese women and we have a voice.
Rachel and Salome, will you join us?
Hi. No, it's amazing to meet you, and thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. I think my first question was just at what point did you realize that this was the kind of work you wanted to do, or like what was it that inspired you?
I have a microphone. Okay, what you can repeat again your question, please?
I just wanted to know like what inspired you to begin the advocacy and work that you're doing for women and girls in Congo.
I think to inspire me is I have here. Yeah. I think what is inspired me to be like I am, I think the challenge and the difficulties when we focus, that inspired me to do something. Because this voice is really making me to somebody hearing like me, these people really making me to see I have to talk. And that inspired me when I see I'm not crazy and some people come to listening to me. That is pushing me always. When I see face of people who can say, oh, I have a little time to come to listening to Neema, I feel honored. Thank you so much for coming. And let me tell you, my name is Neema Namadamu, and I'm from DRC Congo, and I'm here really. Thank you for OPSI. Thank you for everyone putting these things together for 21 days for peace around the world, in particularly in Congo. To be sharing this, really, thank you.
Thank you, Neema. So Neema and I I've had the privilege of having several conversations with Neema this week through some events we've been having at the Carter Center throughout the week. And Neema, in these conversations, you've mentioned multiple times that your job is to make noise and to be a troublemaker, as you put it. So can you tell me some of the specific ways in which you're working with women and the girls in the Congo to help them make some noise?
Sure, that is a very good question. Making noise is really how I work with them. It's my job every day to give them education, to give them value, to give them hope, to give them really considerations like they are human beings. Because the culture, they considering girls like they're supposed to be married. That kind of, and everyone I think in African countries, they know women, they are like business. They are, when you have a woman, they call them Nabintu, some kind gold, money, francs. They are things for families. And that is where, when I work every day, is to give them voice, to give them value, but they still really kind of the culture, and themselves also, they cannot really become like they are. They always wanting to be married. It can say, oh, if they married and the adult marry you, if they love some guy, they say this is not acceptable. For themselves first, they can't believe they can get many adults giving dowry on families or married or marriage. That is where I'm working every day, to give them education, to give them voice, to give them value. For example, when they get a period when they are girls, and they left class, and when they say you're supposed to be married, I was telling you, Rachel, my polio saved me. Because when I get polio, I couldn't be married. I couldn't have a candidate. And that gives me, this is not It gives me opportunities to have education, to have access to education. Is why I say what I'm doing is to give them really access to education, to give them value and themselves. They can, they are human beings. They are really proud to be women. That is my main job, to give them confidence, to give them education. Is why I'm here today, to make this little noise here, because I get education. I'm speaking now English, I can speak French. Now it's my job is to give them, really to up this new generation. They can speak different language through education. They can speaking, they can thinking, they can see I'm the future. That is my job every day, to give them really access to education, to lift them up, to speak, to have a conversation, to tell their life, because they have a really wonderful vision and wonderful knowledge and wonderful life. It's like some kind, not to considering them like black women. Nah, they are nothing, they are poor, they have this image for themselves. They are poverty, migrant, refugee, or whatever. But my job is, no, please stop that image. Have peace and make a little noise. Yeah.
My next question was, what would you say is the largest challenge you face doing the advocacy work that you do, whether that be from people giving you backlash, or what might that be?
Oh, that will not, we can't miss that. That is always stories we have every day. Maybe challenge, first of all, challenge is because I'm a woman. That is the challenge. Every woman have this challenge. Here in the United States, women to have access to vote. For example, women to have same position with men, but the salary is not totally same. That is a challenge because I'm a woman. But for me, this is not a challenge. It's the opportunities. It's always I tell you that. That is really opportunities to give, to be women, to be proud. Women, they are always kind of not a challenge. For me, it's really some kind, is a common challenge. It's a global challenge to be woman. That is no discussing, because when I talking about it, because this is the system who make this challenge, but it's opportunities. Really, when the women are talking, when we fight, like for example, Hillary want to be president, and the people in Africa was saying, this is not a woman. She's maybe not normal. Because she's trying to be that way. Because the system is how system is built. That is the challenge I have. Is a common challenge. Is a global challenge to be woman. Secondly, challenge I have is not a challenge for me. My job is to make those opportunities. The second challenge is black women. Oh wow, black women. And you can sleep and morning you go out. I was thinking in the United States you come like paradigms. It's a really good countries. But I found to be black is a problem. That is where I come in the United States. But it was a second challenge to be black. Really is a challenge, but for me I didn't know it's a challenge. To wear it, because I have my daughter here in the United States. And to have this challenge, I say, oh wow, let me think about it. And I'm afraid when she driving herself, when she come from to campus, and they say, don't come late, my baby. You are black. Because I'm afraid. That is here in America now. Because I was telling her in Congo she's a girl. She must be prudent to go any place late or herself. But here now, she have a color. It's becoming another challenge. But for me, it's opportunities really to talk about magic, to talk about the color. It doesn't mean anything. It's a really kind of system again. That is big systems. He's making this discrimination. He's making this. Now doesn't. It's some people who sleep and they wake up and say, "Oh, I'm black." It's big challenge. It's the system who make those barriers. But for us, it's opportunities to come together. It's really big opportunities to see. Oh, I have a neighbor. To see. Oh, you become now organizing with people and these people with privilege people. This is my opportunity to meet these white people, and this is real for me. I'm happy to be here. This is not a challenge, but people call it a challenge. but it's opportunities. Third, I'm with disability. That is nothing because it's a privilege to get this disability. Gives me really opportunities because I get education. It's why I'm speaking different language. And that is giving me to have this challenge to make that in positive way. And how to make peace. Is some people really adult, color, disability, who doesn't have a peace? Please show me hands. Why you are looking for peace? That is where we are looking for, is to give education, how everyone in family and everywhere, education is really key to give the people. It's like contaminating peace. That is not obstacle for me. Is really, I think, opportunities. Thank you so much. And through education, through speaking main language, through technology. You know, without technology, you can't know where I was living in Congo. Through technology, look how we can change the world. Look how we fly. In 2 days, I'm here in the United States. Through technology, we talk. Through technology, these innovations is why through innovation, it's a beauty. You can discover, oh, we are beautiful African women or men or American. I didn't know American is so beautiful like this, and everyone have this kind of technology. We can talk, the phone. How we can use this beauty of anniversary offering to us adult education. I'm meeting these young ladies. Look how beautiful you are. How peaceful. Look, everything. And we are talking. This is really kind of making people together. This is through technology, through education is why we communicate. Thank you so much for asking me that question.
Oh, thank you, Neema. You kind of got into my second question a little bit, but
Yes.
if you could just dive a little bit deeper into that concept of education and why is education, specifically like access to information and resources and knowledge, so important to the women and girls in Congo, and what are some more specific challenges that they face in pursuing that?
Yeah, you know, that kind of is where when you have education, when you have information, you have power. You understand what I mean? Education is power. Education is communities. Is why we say about education, those girls, they're facing really kind of a challenge because they always, when they're born, they're educating them, they're supposed to be married and save families, they have a kids. And to have a kid is not bad. Really, I love kids. And is kind of, and to have a partner, to be married, you know, men, I love men, they save us, you know, they give everything. We are queens. And men, when they serve us, they give us this loves and education. Why we're fighting is the system again. The system, it doesn't want to know how beautiful to be educated it is, how powerful to have education. We miss many opportunities because we don't have education. And this is why education is the key. If I wouldn't not be educated, you can't meet me here, I would not be here. Education is really kind of powerful. And when you get to see, oh, it's time now to go to a meeting, you know to read what, you know? And you know how to do. Education is everything. To have access to education is have access to opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like I already might know the answer to my next question, but I was going to ask you, what would you say is the most pressing issue globally and in Congo for women and girls facing today?
Today, global issues is challenge time. Yes, and everything, because we are moving big event, world, the system, the mind of these people who made the system, the patriarchal system around the world is so big, heavy machines. It's like we are trying to to push, to change another page. This is a really critical time where they are bringing, it's no problem to be black, to be disability, to be woman or man or whatever. It's not problem, but it's that system, the system they build themselves. That is really challenge. And for that, because in Congo or in Africa, that system is still so heavy. Yes, because it's that really challenging we're still having. For example, in DRC, we have girls, problem about pads, to have access to pad. No one woman who will know, who will say this is a problem. And secondly, we are building school. And that school we are building in Itombwe, where I born, and is the women, they don't have access to no water. No water. We was living like naturally. This is my first, we are now, because this whole people looking for minerals, and they're looking for this world, because my country is a very rich country in the world. And very, right now, people, they are looking for, I think you see the movie, because that's minerals. They're working on laptops and everything, electronical. The people come steal those kind. And when they come, they're digging now minerals. And when they wash minerals with chemical, water goes everywhere. Because we don't have, like you can open water. No. It's only, we live naturally. We go to river. And those rivers, it goes everywhere. There are so many that are connected. And the people drink that water. And my mother passed away with cancer in my village. And many people, they are dying because no water. Your question was what again, please?
What's the biggest global issue that women and girls face?
Yes, that is global. Now I'm locally now, because we don't have water, for example. And girls and women, they go every day, 2 hours bringing water for homes. And those girls is not men. Men doesn't work to go to bring water. This is a job for girls and women. I think you are, like, you've been in Africa. You know how we're going to bring water? Everywhere. And this is really local issues now. This job is for women. And women have babies in like clinics where I'm trying to bring now water, adult water. You can't imagine when you go to give birth, you go with another person, a relative, come and go to liver, bring a jerrycan with water. And this is why sometimes I'm really happy to be here to bring these opportunities to you guys. Bring water to women. Water is life. We have global issues. We are women. And we have also local and national our issues like water. Here, I think you have water. Everyone have water in the house. There we don't have water. There we don't have pads. There we don't have medicine. There women still dying with because no blood, because they give babies no help. You see, I'm surviving polio. I think everywhere in the world, no polio again. But because I get that is a gift I get for life. And I'm not happy for that. But if we couldn't have maybe government or system, we could, maybe I can be, I'm still queen, But if I will not have this kind of issues, these many women, and those kind of, this we want is the local, is that issues we are facing. Thank you for asking me. That's a good question. Go ahead, please.
So, all right, Neema, I'm going to ask about this. But
Yes.
The DRC is quickly approaching the presidential, provincial, and parliamentary elections on December 23rd.
Yes.
And we know, I think it's been clear even through what you're saying, that these elections are really important.
Yeah.
They're also the opportunity for the first democratic transition the Congo's seen in a long time. But with that, what do you see as being the main populations who have a limited access to vote in the Congo, and what are those limitations? And if you could give your own recommendations to the city, to the Electoral Commission, based on those limitations, what would they be?
Oh gosh, this is really good questions. It's like when you say people don't have access to water, and there for CENI is election commissions. We call them in DRC CENI. My advice to them, I think, is always tricky system, and I think they have a, I don't know how I can call it. I don't have a good word to give the description that kind of elections. I think it's mafia organizing. Yeah, and they have a really this, I'm sorry to say mafia, but I don't know how another name I can give because I'm not politician. Really, I hate those kind. Because, you know, we have election and we have those machines, and the president doesn't want to move on, to be out power. And now, right now, is really making little, like, trouble and bring other partner, mafia partner from Rwanda and Burundi, militias. They are helping and killing people because himself, he say, oh, I'm not going to be again a candidate, but he's bringing really war, people fighting. I think he's not going to be, I don't know if it will be, but if it will be, my recommendation is how we can really help women to get to read. Because the women there, they are doing like, where people who's in office told them, choose this. Some people, they are literacy, they don't know how to read. And they choose whatever people in office said, touch here, your hands, with your finger, touch here. And that is really kind of a recommendation. We don't really have access and no road, but that machine they are bring, I think is welcome. We are going to do whatever if we have access to that machine, yeah.
So you're doing so much great work in Congo. For those of us that are here today or have been attending the events for the past 21 days, what is it that you think we can all do here in order to help carry on your mission over there?
For election, really, that kind of my machine is I don't know really in that kind of election, but those kind of other president in region, Iraq regions, Burundi and Rwanda, they refuse to step out and they change the constitution. But we Congolese, we have a little power not to say, you can't touch our constitution, President, Mr. President. Now, because he didn't change the constitution, he's working with his partner, like club of mafia. They are sending rebels, killing, and now he's showing UN and the other people, oh, look, we have now trouble, we can maybe doing, we look for peace. And he's supporting really kind of peace, name of peace, because they are so much busy fighting for positions, for power. But women and girls, that is where I can say, they are fighting for families. They are fighting for communities. And we want a big organization like Carter Center and USAID and everyone to support those grassroots organizations. Through we can rank this kind of, we demonstrating capacity, we reach women, and those organizations really they are putting much money in organization, but it's going on a system again. But if it can be possible, please, and you are coming to Congo, try to target women and grassroots organizations. It's not only me. We have many women organizations, but they don't have access to those funds because funds go so high level. They are big giants, those lions. When they get nothing, we are really making only noise. Is why we are noise. Yeah.
We need you to make noise, though.
Together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Neema, so like I said, I've had several conversations with you this week, and I am continually just amazed by your courage and your love and your strength that you show. But I also know the context you work in, and I know it's often painful, and I know it's often complex and challenging, and there's a lot of danger. And so my question is, what keeps you going? What motivates you? What keeps you filled with love and hope? other than your sense of humor that we know well?
Oh gosh, that is really, really good questions. And I think what it gives me courage is how I grow up with my mother. My mother passed away without knowing to write one or two or her name, but he gives me love. He gives me really kind of constitution myself. I didn't grow up like have shame to be with disability. I was really kind of with big love. I always like baby to my mother. He gives me that kind of constitution on myself, and I was always proud to be whatever I am. And now we are working. Let me tell you my stories. One stories. My daughter, she gets. I send her out one day out in my house to buy me a time credit to call somebody. It was like 6.5 or almost 7, and he was beaten by military. Yeah, they beat her really seriously. And he called, said, why he called me? Is he around the house in the corner? And they said, oh, she was beaten by military. And there was a colonel, like 2 or 3 lanes was between us. They beat her, and because I think it was look how they can get me. And they know I was working and I was still working, and they have maybe voice, and they can maybe going to justice to look for vengeance. But that day I couldn't sleep. They said, what am I going to do? Where is this challenge? Why this come? And really I went there in the morning. Say, oh, mom, and say, you are my sons. You are supposed to give us the security. And how you can, oh, please forgive us, mom, forgive us, forgive us. And they put those boys on prison. Yeah, they beat them a little bit, but without my request. No, because the colonel only, he heard that, they went out, they beat girls. I think they was trying to rape, but it was people there, and they helped her, and she got home. And that kind of, to take that decision was really gives me like, okay, I love them. I don't hate really, I don't know how I can do. And I take the decision to forgive. Really forgiveness also gives me peace. And it gives you power on that someone who have guns. And someone who have a really kind, it's not power inside the power, it's outside the power. You can have guns, machine guns, bombs, it's outside. And sometimes we work really so closely with anniversary offering as some kind of good idea. And when you get that, it's powerful, and is how you make peace. Adult now is not noise. Because I say, these people, maybe they are looking for me, but they will never get me. And that kind of, I see them, but they don't see what is in me. That is how I work with them. Yeah. If I answer that, your question, I answer?
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is my final question, but so I had the opportunity to do a lot of work with women in Ethiopia through different organizations, and through conversations I had with family members or other community leaders. A lot of people seem very hopeful in terms of gender equity and just a lot of the change that's happening now, and the fact that there even like these women organizations exist. And so I was just wondering if you feel that sentiment. I know there's still a long way to go, but where do you think we are now, whether that be as Africa or in the Congo, in terms of making the quality of lives for women better?
I think we are breaking barriers because we begin now, women begin speaking out. That is one step. And also system, people of power, they begin listening. To be here and to be card center is big. It's kind of, I have hope. And really, I think we are having, look, these people here, and listening to us, coming to share, And where is African now women? I'm not alone. Is why I see. And we are not different. Let me tell you, it's not only Africa. In America, last month I was in South Korea. I was speaking about comfortable woman, the woman who was celebrated Second World War. And still today, the Japanese government it never gives official forgiveness or official request to say, okay, forgive. They still today, we're still fighting for that. And I was all over world the survivors about women's sexual abuse around the world. I was there, I was guiding that meeting, and I wanted to embassy, Japanese, I wanted to parliament, I wanted fanfares, I wanted so far. But that kind of is where I said, oh, how I found my life this way. Going to South Korea, going to Africa, going to America, coming to this big, beautiful, is mean they are beginning to listening to us. They open only the door. Is that we enter on a system. It's not only African, but I hope, you know, to have like Hillary be candidate, president of the United States. This is the beginning. This is our hope. And other person who will put his face there is now, they say, is normal. But it's beginning. And we are there, you know. System is real, slowly by slowly, and the families now begin to really understand. My mother didn't have anything to do with education. I have a little education, and my daughter, she's going to be doctor soon. You understand? This is a big step, and this is really, system is going to change. You are girls. You are African, you are American, and you are on a place where making decision is. She's really big, and she's kind of doing observation election in DRC from Carter Center. Now she'll bring news. She'll bring observation where she saw. And now the people can make that in considerations. I see really we are getting there. And soon, look, you guys, new generation, you are going to be flower star in the world to change the system. Thank you so much for asking me.
Well, Neema, I think you are the big deal here. So for my last question, I just kind of want to follow up on Salome's a little bit. So we've seen you break so many barriers through your work with like women's access to information and just giving women a voice and a platform for their voice. But what are some barriers that still need to be broken?
Barriers is really a kind of, it's a big deal because that's culture. In particularity in Africa, we have the culture still mean pulling back all women, and we still have those ideas. Sometimes they call you when they have you have this good position or opportunity. You know, I serve like as parliament in my province, and I serve as national technical advisor to national ministers. They can sometimes they say, oh, you are prostitute, you are this, and they give you bad name because they want to give you bad image. You are not normal in society. That is a really behavior, is a barrier we're still having. But now girls, I would say we are model for other kids, young girls, young generations, but really it is still there. And we have sometimes you say, maybe I'm not normal because people told you like those kind of bad names and words, and you back on yourself. I'm normal? But when you see things bring change, and they say, this is me, you say, yeah, it's normal. And you see really it's kind of working. Is that I have a really hope because we're still fighting. It's in ourselves too, that culture. Yeah, but we're still fighting with that. Yeah.
Thank you, both of you, Salome and Rachel, and Neema, for being here with us and answering these questions. We can open it up to the audience now and get some more questions if you're willing. And while you're thinking about your questions, or maybe you've already thought about it, The one thing I want to say is with Emory 21 Days of Peace, the reason why we bring folks like Neema is not to say that you need to go to Africa to make a change. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. Peace starts here, starts within, that anybody can take part in peace building wherever they are. And that's why we call it building peace locally and globally, and that what you do locally affects what's happening globally. So I just wanted to emphasize that. And then one more thing before we go into question and answers. One of the co-founders, student co-founders of 21 Days of Peace is here, and this is her last year at Emory. So I just wanted to recognize her and thank her for what she started. This is now our third year. Noura, if you can please stand. Noura Al-Mubarak, thank you. I also want to thank today Stephanie Cerqueira for everything that you've done to organize this whole series. We've been short-staffed this semester, and you've done an incredible job in pulling everything together. Thank you so much. Questions that you may have for Neema, for the students? Okay, we'll come to Allah first.
Hi, thank you so much for everything you've said. It's been so inspiring. I think the last question actually led perfectly into my next question, but I think we've been doing so much work around the world with empowering, educating women. The initiative has gone, it's just been amazing. A lot of work to go, but we've just made so much progress. And you mentioned that culture is a huge thing, and to me, culture is like law in Africa. So my question is, we've been doing a lot of work with women and girls, but how do you reach men and educate them on the importance of empowering women? Because I think that's that first hurdle with it. So that's my question, is reaching men.
Thank you so much. That is a really good question, because we become model. When I educating women, men is really supporting the change, men. Because when, for example, education, when they serve me, they say, I said, you want your girls to be like Neema? They say, sure, is that we want. And when I bring that project, this about PAD, Keep Girls on the School, and women was resisting. They say, oh, Neema, don't talk this around men, because this is not, we grow up like this. Why you want PAD? There was resisting women. They don't want me to tell men, and now I say, I begin doing like, women, to have women to be like, it's only me, I back to my village to build the school. And now the chief, they send me a letter, because they want it already, because we didn't have, now we don't have water in the school, new school we are building, and we don't have a toilet, but they want already begin. Chief writing me letter to begin that school like it is. But where is good, men really, they still, and now they begin understand. And what I am doing is to show how women, there are opportunities. This is my game I'm using. I show them, you know how much you miss if you let your girl go to school. She will be this, she will be this, she will bring much money in your family. And then now, really, that is I'm targeting girls, because now women, my age and the others, they don't understand. They say, oh, you don't have shame, because that's culture. They are grow up and they are old. But new generation and men, really, I say, look where you miss. If you can have, for example, your wife get education, she will do this, and that. And they see many, they are refugees now, immigrant here. They have a serious problem. The woman cannot read. Woman, she cannot cook. She never cook on stove. She doesn't know on, off. She doesn't know what does that mean. You understand what I mean? And they have big challenge. And now is that system happening now in Congo, for example. Men who have educations, they have now second wife to go out with them, to go on parties, on everything, because they can, because in Congo we speak many languages. And when he become a really big guy, he become like a general, he look another, we call them deuxième bureau. is in French, second office. Yeah, I don't know how those women's. Yeah, is for to travel with, to go with, to make friend, to go to meet friend. But woman, official woman, she's only home, with only she become like nothing. But really, men they begin understand. But the culture you show only women there are opportunities. I told them, you know, I'm big opportunities and with disability. You didn't marry me, but other people, because I'm opportunities, look how I'm married to American guys. You understand what I mean? Yeah, thank you so much for asking that questions. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Mohammed. I'm from Egypt, and I'd like to thank you for sharing your story with us. We were really touched by your experience. I actually agree with you for a lot of things, especially the system thing you said. We have the same problem. I'm back home. I'm working as a physical therapist, and I'm dealing with a lot of issues about the underserved children with disabilities and women. You know, every problem happens, and the women end up suffering because if you have like a child with a disability and you don't have service, you will carry him for long distance to get even a decent medical care. So my question is a little bit related to the previous one, but it's not only about men. The resistance to change, the community resistant to change. How did you manage to break it? What like advices can you give us to do this in our countries? How are we managed to do this? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is a really wonderful question. Communication is key. And don't go there to show power. No. Be humble. And show them they are so powerful. Is how I work. And be yourself. Don't bring, oh, I'm from America. I'm big guy. I speak 5 languages. You are not to be received. Yeah, don't go there and you become one of those people. And you become really very vulnerable. And this is how I work. And it's some kind of so hard for men like you to say, oh, chief, and it's not really. Because he have guns or whatever, is chief of a village, but he doesn't know what he doesn't know. But pretend, yes, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Another questions? Yes.
Hey, I'm Laura Martin. I manage the Center for Humanitarian Emergencies at the School of Public Health. And I feel like you were just talking about almost every single aid worker that I've ever worked with. We tend to bring ourselves to every single conversation and decision without thinking of power and privilege and how we replicate that. And you being from Congo, I know that you know that. So you've alluded to systems and funding, and you mentioned one of the major US donors. There is the humanitarian aid system that specifically I wanted to mention because it works in parallel and often on top of the Congolese government. And you are a queen. The women and girls of Congo are queens. And how can we, as the aid community, help queens to grow and thrive?
Wow, you are welcome. Yeah, that is technical questions, if I understand well.
Not necessarily.
Uh-huh.
From your experience, how can we get out of your way?
What mean? No, come together. Don't get my way. Come, we go together. And we can be partner. That is, we are welcome. Thank you. Yes, please.
Hello. I'm a past president of the Georgia Association for Women Lawyers. And there was an organization called World Peace Through Law. The lawyers and judges visited around the globe to establish peace. So my question in the Congo, are there women who serve on juries? Are there women judges? And are there women lawyers? And are the women judges sufficiently independent that they are not under the domination of others? Can they independently rule as women judges?
Oh, no. That is not possible. The women, they serve power. And when some women, we have a lawyer, we have a judge, we have everyone, but it's underpowered people. You know, they can't do anything. The system, they serve the system. Yeah. But we have now in our new program we call Global Ambassador for Peace. We have now a woman, she's a lawyer, she's from California. She's now working with us with Maman Shujaa Center because we have those girls. We're really emerging a new generation. She's supporting lawyer and doctors to go to school. They give scholarship or those girls. And that we really, now we're mentoring them in how we are working. We say how we can change the paradigms. You know, we don't want to change those power people or leader who have that system, but we one day will be, oh, okay, we have a judge, a woman, we have a lawyer, we have a this and that, and they can make decisions. Yeah, we are doing that, really. Thank you so much. But other who is in power, they serve power to be, okay, they say, oh, we are working with women, you know? It's like kind of some banner they put like ministers, but they don't have anything to do. For example, let me give the example in Rwanda. In Rwanda, they give the example in the world is like 52% of women in the parliament. But we are neighbor countries. And the violent women, but never those women say one word. Yes, and that in Rwanda, like he changed the constitution, he became president, I don't know whatever he was doing, is not, that is the global issues I'm talking to. And that women, they have two candidates who was tried to be president. They are in the prisons. Yes, for maybe one was 8 years, and now yesterday, I think I saw on the news, one is out prison, but others still there in the prisons. That is making sure that he was looking, oh, is number one in Africa, is a big guy, because but those, they work to show international, but inside is really, is a show only. Like, you know, how people give news, you have access, they are professional to deliver messages. Yeah, it's only people get this news on TV or radio or whatever. They are professional. They have a job for that. Thank you so much for asking me that questions.
Now we'll take our last question.
My name is Francois from Togo. You know, Togo and Congo, similar. So I want to know a little bit about the situation of women who lost their husband. You know, yes.
Who what?
Women who lost their husbands.
Husbands, widows?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a really large percentage of widows in Congo because those civil war now maybe more 22 or 22 years now. From 1994, when the genocide happened in Rwanda, all those genociders come in our country, and those kind of young people, young men, become really vulnerable, became fighting. Many died, and the widows stay there now, become like slavery forever. There are no husband, there no one who take care of them, and everyone who come, they rape regularly. Now is like they have a license for being raping, but everyone, because she's widowed, she can't be married again, and now it's really so bad. Yeah, they are there, so many percentage, and the young women. Yeah.
So do you have a program for their integration, or I don't know how you are
Yes.
dealing with that situation.
That is really where Maman Shujaa mean is we bring them, and every day our program is how they can come, they can have someone who listening to them, who really welcoming them, we can talk. Yeah, we talk all time. I have a program to do or end the year on where I go to the small church in my church in town. I do material for them or end the year, but because I can say it's that kind of small things I can have myself, and I offering to them. But there are so many, and they really don't have access to anything, and many women. There was a husband military, many big percentage they are widows.
So this brings us to the end of our program today. Neema, I want to thank you again for being here with us today, but not just today, but the whole week. It's been a long week, and I really want to thank you for being here and really sharing with all of us, with all your heart, and for everything that you do to uplift the voices of women and to make life better for women and girls in Africa and Congo, but that translates also for women and girls here in America. I think what you're doing there is not just exclusive to what's happening there. It's really exemplary of also what's going on here. Patriarchy is there, patriarchy is here. We get it.
Yeah.
And with building peace, build peace where you are with whatever resources you have. You know, our example is Neema. She did that with where she is and what she has. And the impact that she's making locally has an impact globally. And that's our message. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank all of you for sharing with Neema, sharing this conversation. Ed, is there anything you want to add?
Make a little noise.
Yeah.
Much more trouble.
Yes.
Thank you. One photos for everyone today for 20 days for peace.
Oh yeah,
The
today is
peacemaker.
International Day of Peace.
Yes, please come and do peace.
Pictures.
Yeah.